Welcome to the Den of Tools.
Howdy ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the old Den of Tools. And today I'm here to give you the background on Chervon Tools. No, not Chevron. Chervon. I know a lot of people get confused on that one. It's understandable. Chervon is not a company that a lot of people have heard of. Chevron, on the other hand, and the spelling and all that. So don't feel bad if you make the mistake if you're one of them. But anyway, moving on, let me give you the TLDR on this, if you will. Then we'll go into more of a deep dive. Now, Chervon is one of the 10 largest power tool companies in the world. Their products are sold in 65 countries across 4 different continents. They have production locations in Nanjing, China, and Steinheim, Germany. They currently sell several brands in the U.S. These includes brands that you've probably heard of, like Ego Outdoor Power Equipment, Skil, and Skilsaw. And maybe this next one you may not have heard as much, but if you shop on Amazon, you might have seen it, and that is Hammerhead Tools. Now, they also produce tools for other brands, and these include, yep, you guessed it, Kobalt. They make the cordless tools over at Lowe's for Kobalt, and guess what? They also do it for Menards. They make these cordless tools over there. For those of you who don't know what Menards is, think of them as, was it like Lowe's combined with a Walmart Supercenter? I kid you not. You can buy everything from plywood to power tools to frozen pizza to mops to dishwashing soap, everything. It's all under one roof. It's quite an experience shopping at Menards. If you haven't heard of them, I don't blame you. They are, even though now get this, they're the 3rd largest hardware chain in the U.S. behind Home Depot and Lowe's, but they're only located in the north Midwest-ish kind of area there. From Wyoming over. Anyway, you can see the map there. If you're in anywhere else, you probably never even heard of them. If you're in those areas, they're as common as Home Depot and Lowe's. Now, if you've been following the tool news recently, I'm sure you've heard that Chervon is also launching the Flex 24-volt professional power tool line this month exclusively at Lowe's. Okay, so this gives you kind of a big picture idea as to who they are. But the question is, let's dive more into detail, find out who they really are. Chervon was founded as a trading company in Nanjing, China in 1993. The name of the company means spring and mountains. Now, I was surprised because I thought Nanjing was kind of more coastal. I didn't think there were many mountains, but I went to Google Maps, and as you can see, they have, well, I guess for them, they can't call those mountains, being from Montana and Nevada, it's, anyway, I guess that's what it looked. What the snot is going on? Whoa. Check that. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. Oh, check this dude's out. Hands up, don't shoot. Apparently, plinking at tourists in Nanjing is a thing. Who knew? Anyway, the bear kids. In 1999, they built their first fully owned factory. I don't have any pictures from back there. 7 years later, they built the Chervon Industrial Park. Now, they've since built this upgraded version. Again, I don't have any pictures of the older version, but this is their current one, and this thing is quite a state-of-the-art piece. Yes, that is a grass roof. I don't know if they have a putting surface up there. You'd like to think they would. But apparently the CEO is really into like sustainable energy and better use environments and stuff, which is pretty much rare as hen teeth in China. So I kind of applaud him for that kind of stuff. Anyway, they initially made power tools for other companies. They did OEM and ODM power tools for other brands, such as joint ventures with Bosch to produce bench tools. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about this, all right? Now, this isn't the only one they did, but they were instrumental in working with Bosch on the design of one of the most innovative and most loved miter saws on the market. So that's kind of saying something. Now, on a side note, I just want to clear this up because we talk about this a lot, and we don't really give you the definition on it. There's really 2 versions here, OEM and ODM. OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer now, and ODM means Original Design Manufacturer. And OEM will take your designs and then build it to your specs. That's like what Apple does. You see stuff on the back that says designed in Cupertino, but it's built somewhere else. All right, they do all the designs. Somebody else builds it for them. ODM is when you just basically buy something they've designed and they put your name on it and they put it in your box. That's an off-the-shelf kind of thing, remarketing. That's what you see across Amazon and a lot of other places. You know, the more you know, right? All right, and back to Chervon here. So while they were doing very well in the whole OEM, ODM market here, what they really wanted to do, because they knew they needed to separate themselves from the pack over there, is they needed to start producing their own tools. Otherwise, they'd just be another, white box manufacturer in China. So they launched, the first one I think they launched was in 2012, they launched Ego Outdoor Power Equipment. They were, at that time, they were the bleeding edge of cordless lawn tools. I know because I had just bought a house in 2011, and that next spring I was looking for a new mower. And sadly, at the time, they were beyond my budget. But 2 years later, they launched the 56-volt line. It's widely considered the Cadillac of cordless mowers, and today they offer stuff like this. It's insane how they've taken over the outdoor market. Everyone I know who has one, pretty much everyone I know who has one, has loved it. There's been a few people who are like, I'm going to go back to gas or something because they had specific needs or something, but this was probably the first brand that really said, you don't need gas anymore. You can go electric. And as you know, if you've been following the bear, I'm a huge fan of electric, especially when it comes to outdoor power equipment. Now, continuing this trend, in 2013, they bought Flex Power Tools. Now, I did cover that in this video here when I talked about the launch of the Flex 24-volt line. So you can go over and check out that video if you want to see more of the history about Flex. But Flex is a 100-year-old German tool company. They actually invented the angle grinder of all things. They are a premier professional-grade power tool manufacturer. They're all over Europe. And in the U.S., you mainly see them in things that have to do with metal. There's finishing tools, polishing tools, that kind of, basically stuff that revolves around grinder-based technology. Now, to be clear about this, I just want to say, this isn't like when Stanley Black & Decker bought DeWalt. Chervon didn't just skin the company for the pelt and toss the meat and the bones. They needed the skills and tech that Flex brought with them, that they brought to the table, if you would. So this is them integrating them. That's why they're still making tools. They still have offices in industry over in Germany. This is an integration, not a rating, if you will, like you saw with the whole DeWalt thing. Now, they weren't done yet. In 2016, Chervon purchased Skil and Skilsaw from the Bosch Group. Now, this is another 100-year-old kind of company, almost one. I think it was 1924 that they were founded. But they are truly, Skil was a legend in the tool industry, but had kind of fallen on hard times, wasn't quite being what it should have been. To be fair though, Skil deserves a full history video in its own right, and I'll get one out to you here in short order on that. But the company, as I said, it kind of separated into two groups. Basically, there was this uber cheap, kind of trashy power tool division, entry-level power tool division that they'd kind of devolved into. And then they had the Skilsaw, which was a worm-driven saw designed for professionals. Now, today, they have 5 distinct lines, and that is they have the 12-volt PowerCore 12 line. And if you've been around the channel, you know I'm a huge fan of this. I recently bought into it myself to try it out. They've been having screaming deals for it on Amazon, and I'm blown away by this line. Everything in the line is, they're all 12-volt, they're all brushless. All the batteries in the system have built-in USB ports so you can use them as power bricks. They just make some fantastic little tools. The only thing I think, honestly, holding this line back is more tools. And I mean, they've got a substantial set as it is. And if they came out with another 10 to 20 line of tools, they could dominate the kind of prosumer market, if you would, for people, because most homeowners, 12 volt is more than enough, and for a lot of pros, it is as well. Now, the other line they have the more traditional 20 volt max, I guess, whatever you want to call it here. It's the 18 volt system. The PowerCore 20 is what they call it. And they have all the standard stuff. They have a full featured lineup here. with all the tools that you'd probably be looking for in a 20-volt system here. And they have some great chargers also. They have the jump chargers and whatnot, and an array of batteries and all sorts of other fun stuff. Now they also have a 40-volt power core 40-volt system. This again is outdoor power equipment. This is for people looking probably more on a budget who aren't looking for the Ego 56-volt line. They got mowers and trimmers and all that kind of jazz. Now the next thing they have is the truly professional grade line of cordless worm drive Circ saws. Now I'm a huge fan of the worm drive Circ saw for construction. You know, back when I was on the job site, that was the apex. If you could get one of these saws, that was it. You were doing well. I could never afford one of these myself. I had a little Makita, but I loved my Makita. It was great. I got to say this though, companies, if you're going to come out with a new line or new brand or new slogan, you know, for a small fee, you can run it by me and I'll tell you whether you're doing something stupid, because look at this right here. Come on. Who reads that and doesn't say true evil? I know it says true HVL, but you glance at it, it says true evil. And the worst part is, now that I've told you, you will not be able to unsee it. Right. Now they also have a whole line of corded hand tools. Again, I would say corded is underrated. And, you know, the runtime on it is, you know, you'd be surprised. So they have a great selection of corded tools there. Pretty much most of the stuff you'd need for the shop. I hear a really great router. Now they have a great line of bench tools, or like stationary tools, let's call them. I got to tell you, I hadn't heard about this, the new 10-inch dual bevel sliding saw, until I was working on this video. I've been wanting to get my paws on their table saw. Maybe when I get back up to Montana, I'll break into the old piggy bank and grab one of these, because the way these legs fold up make this one of the best, I think, at least concept-wise, as far as portable saws and also bench top saws. So I want to take a look at that. They have the 8.5 inch, they have the 10-inch worm drive saws. They've got, of course, this 12-inch dual bevel sliding miter saw using the worm drive technology also. They have abrasive saws and cutoff saws and some other stuff that isn't quite nearly as high-end. When you look at this bandsaw and this grinder, honestly, some of this stuff, I mean, I think it looks kind of like holdovers from the old Skil. Maybe they just haven't gone around to updating it, because if you even look at the design, the logo and stuff between them, it looks like the older tech. So hopefully, you know, claws crossed on this one, that's going to be changing shortly. Now, let's talk about Hammerhead. I had a heck of a time trying to figure out anything about Hammerhead, who they are, where they came from. I don't think this was another brand. I think they came up with this one on their own. I did a little deep dive in the old, interwebs there. I found the first use of it shows up in 2009 by GeoCity user Hhead8103. Sorry, dude, you should have held on to that domain name. You might have been able to get a few bucks for it. It then shows up in 2012. Looks like a cyber squatter was sitting on it back then. Now, to be fair, I actually own quite a few domain names. They're things I picked up over the years. In fact, at one point, I think I had like 50 of them. I've sold most of them or released most of them. I'm down to about 20 at this point. But I do own snugbastard.com. Now, if you're interested in a great business to go in with me, the idea the wife and I had is we want to combine. You remember these Snuggie things that were like super hot for a while? We want to combine one of those with a smoking jacket. So when people look over at you and go like, well, don't you look all cozy? And you're like, well, yes, I am. You could be a snug bastard too. I know. Okay, the bear, it's a pun. I can't help myself. But anyway, eventually we did find in 2014, we see the first instances of the Hammerhead tool line taking over the domain. I'm guessing that's probably about when they launched. If you've got better details on this, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. Anyway, Hammerhead is definitely an entry-level, base-level, entry-level tool system here that they have. They've got several different lines. They've got a couple laser measurers. They've got a nice little basic selection of cordless 20-volt and 4-volt tools here. They also have a decent selection of corded tools here. Now these, as I've seen, they've been mostly online. I've seen some of the accessories show up in Lowe's, but I really haven't seen them in any other brick and mortar. I mean, but they do have a decent choice of tools there. Now in 2017, Chervon built their first North American headquarters. This is in, I'm going to mispronounce this, I'm sure, Naperville, Illinois. It's a suburb of Chicago, essentially. It's a nice area of town, really. I've been there a few times. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, they built this huge complex. I think it's something like 14,000 square feet or something. Maybe it's 140,000. It's massive. It's 122,000 square foot facility. It includes a gourmet cafe, a gym, an outdoor terrace, landscaped patios, and ergonomic workspaces. That's fantastic. Maybe they'll start doing some construction here as well, start building some tools. Who knows? Maybe if we light a fire on them, they'll start looking at factories here. Anyway, I know. It's hard to start a factory in the U.S. You know, you got the EPA and unions, and between the two of them, you just can't win. Anyway, all that said, that's kind of the overview. It's a young company that's done an awful lot. If you think about it, between them being around for 20-some years, was it 93? Actually, wow. And then, you know, between them and Flex and Skil, you've got well over 200 years of experience wrapped up in this company. And they've recently really partnered closely with Lowe's. All right, they pulled the Ego tools out of Home Depot last year. That was a big deal. We see the launch here of the Flex tools now exclusively at Lowe's. We've seen the Skil power tools showing up at Lowe's as well. This is clearly going to be one of these tight kind of partnerships, the power couple things, which is just like we see over at Home Depot with TTI. They brought in their Milwaukee, their Rigid, their Ryobi line. So this whole power couple thing, you know, also, you know, we got Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. You know, you got to get these big couples together because that's when they really bring, you know, the full weight behind them. So Flex Power Tools, the 24 volt, I should say, because this is a whole new line. This is not like the line that they sell over in Europe. They're going to be launching, they're actually having a big online event. This is the countdown for it. On Monday, April 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. That is 4 days, 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 12 seconds from the time of this filming. I hope you can join us. We're actually, you know what, probably going to do, I don't know, what do you think we should do? Should we do a watch party? Do you just want the bear to do a video with his thoughts after the fact? Let me know down in the comments how you want to see this, because I really like to get this community involved and see what's going on with this. Now, let me hold you right there. I know some of you saw some videos on the old YouTubes about the Flex tools not performing so well. A couple people got their pause on these tools ahead of time. They bought them themselves. There was a glitch on the Lowe's website and people were able to purchase the tools. It was the base level, not the upper level tools, the entry level Flex line. So you're talking, that's like the equivalent of either the brushed or the brushless, not the fuel line when it comes to Milwaukee. So anyway, they got their pause on these tools, and they did, at least one guy did some testing and did a video on it. And that is Jim over at It's Always Busted in Philadelphia, I think is his YouTube channel. He's a great guy. He's not a shill or anything like that. But I think he had some issues with the tools. And because these tools have a computer in both the tool and in the battery, like most high-end tools do. And I think with its first use, there was something where they weren't syncing up, and maybe it kind of put it into limp mode. I've been talking to him about this, and he went back and retried it. Anyway, I'm not going to step on his news here, but go over to his channel and subscribe and check it out. I think you're going to you need to see it, okay? Anyway, that said, I'm really holding off because, I mean, entry-level power, entry-level what professional tools is kind of an oxymoron. I'm waiting to see the upper tier, the high-end power tools that they're going to offer, the ones that are supposedly the equivalent to the Flex or the DeWalt, XR level tools. Those are the ones we really want to see in action and see what happens. So anyway, let me know what you think in your comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good YouTube dance kind of stuff. You know how we like it there. Anyway, that's all the bear has for you today. Till next time, you all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.